Alright everybody, so thanks for joining me for today. Today we're giving you 5 items that you can bring along with you in your bag when you go out to practice your survival and bushcraft skills in the woods. These are just 5 items that I found are the most important ones, but you do not need them. They're not like, oh, I have to buy these things or I can't like practice my skills. When it comes to learning survival skills, when it comes to learning nature skills, everything we truly need can come from the land. Like, we can create anything from anything we can find in nature. And so, you know, I see a bunch of videos, a lot of online resources that say, oh, you need to buy this gear. You know, you have to spend like $300 for this knife or all this like tent or whatever setup. I just find that, you know, sort of useless. I think that's feeding into the sort of consumerism and materialism type of thing that, you know, the modern human like is attracted to. And so if we take a step back and say like, hey man, like, yeah, I shouldn't have to like pay thousands of dollars so I can go into the woods where technically I'm trying to get away from like the modern world, you know? So these items that I'm showing you today, they are very cheap, okay? They're very cheap. You don't have to spend much money at all, and you probably own like half these things. But they're just tools. They're just tools to allow you to create and allow you to explore and allow you to experience different things in nature. And so that's why I'm going to be showing you these things. First off, I'll just show you like all 5 items right now. It's the knife, fire kit, cordage, a pot, and then finally a blanket. Simple as that. Like, it really doesn't get any more simple than that. When it comes to these items though, like I said, you don't need any of them. And so I will also give alternatives. So if you don't want to buy any of these things, or maybe like you don't have the ability to buy any of these things, then I'll give you some alternatives that you can do to create these things from nature. And so like, that's what I did for a long time. I didn't have a tent, I didn't have a sleeping pad or a sleeping bag. And so I would literally create like primitive shelters to sleep in when I'm in the wild. You know, I didn't have like these fire making, like all these like fancy fire making things. So I just used like a lighter and matches, and I just like practice. And so you don't need any gear. Like, keep it basic, keep it simple. You don't need this like the right brands or anything. Just literally get anything that's like whatever is affordable for you. So I had to get that out of the way because that's a big like a barrier, and people like are being tricked. You know, oh, we have to buy all these things. But enough of me ranting there. Let's get straight into the actual items. First item is the knife. Now this is the only item here that I will actually say like, yeah, get this brand, because this is the moral companion. It is the cheapest knife for its quality. You know, it's a $20 blade. You can't really beat that type of price for this quality. You know, it's a really good blade. And what a knife does is that we're able to manipulate wood or anything in nature, really. We can cut different pieces of wood, twigs and sticks to shape different things. Maybe we're making traps or shelters or some cooking implements, whatever it may be. We're able to use our knife to do that. And so that's why it's important to have, especially if you're practicing, especially if you're like a beginner. I think it's important to practice our knife skills and keep them refined, you know. So there it is, $20 knife, like, it's so cheap. So the second thing on my list is a fire kit. Now this involves 5 different items. Let me show you. First off, it's a lighter. Simple as that. You probably own one at home. If you don't, this is literally I don't know, it's like less than $1 to buy. Next is a ferro rod. So a ferro rod, this is a great tool. You can get this for like $8 at Walmart or something, or you know, it's like super cheap. Matches, you can really get this for like 10 cents or something at a convenience store. So also very cheap. And the other 2 items in this little pouch is cotton balls and then jute twine. So some sort of cordage. Basically these are tinder sources, and I can use this if I can't find like natural tinder, which you can pretty much find natural tinder anywhere, but you know, maybe if I'm like low on time or just like I can't find anything, then I have tinder in my pouch that I can use to create a fire. So yeah, the reason why I'm bringing 3 different ways to create a fire, that's a lighter, matches, and a ferro rod, is because I want different ways to create fire. You know, if one way doesn't work, then I have another way to do it. And especially as a beginner, you want to practice with different ways to create fires. If you only use a lighter, right, then you won't like understand how to create a proper tinder bundle. Because with a lighter, you have an instant flame, right? With ferro rod, you have sparks, so you have to learn how to use those sparks to create a fire, right? So it's it's interesting stuff, and I bring these 3 like fire starting tools with me all the time, and they're so cheap. So bring them along with you. Be able to create fires, and simple as that. The next thing on my list is cordage, okay? And now a lot of people are gonna say get paracord as like the cordage that you should buy. Paracord is cheap too. You can buy it like for like $1.50 at some convenience store, some dollar store. So it's really cheap already. But I just don't like paracord. Like personally, I just find it that like it's just not that great. And a lot of people will disagree, but here's why. I like to use jute twine. Like this is my choice of cordage because it has multiple uses. Not only is it a great like piece of cordage, so I can tie up different things. I can make lashings, create shelters, whatever it may be. I have cordage. I can use this like to hang my phone up so I can film a video. That's what I did for like past 2 videos. But cordage is an essential tool. And with jute twine, you can actually separate it. Okay, if you grab an end, start separating the end, you create this fine tinder. And with this, that can create fire. That can catch a flame. So that's important to have. I like that double use for the cordage, and that's why I have it. But if I'm not having jute twine, natural cordage, bro. I love making cordage from natural materials. I have videos on this if you want to check it out. It's super simple and it's super fun. So I like making my own cordage. It puts like my own heart into it. You know what I mean? Like if you buy a paracord, like sure, it's cool and all. It's like helpful and it's really durable. But I just don't like paracord. You can try it out yourself. It's up to you. It's the same price really to buy any cordage, but you need cordage because you can make so many things. You'll find so many uses and learn so many new uses that would have never thought was possible. So definitely get cordage. It's also rope, whatever you want to call it. Next thing on my list is the pot, a stainless steel pot. Now you're gonna see online all these gear people. They're gonna say, yo, you have to get this certain pot that's shaped this way, that's this small. Sure, you could get one of those things, but this is like $5. This is literally from Walmart for $5. Like that's all you need. You don't need some special like $20, $50 pot. Like literally just get any pot and you'll be able to cook food in it. You'll be able to boil water, so you have clean water to drink. But that's really it. Get a pot. And essentially if you're a beginner and you're not planning to do any cooking or eating, you don't need a pot. But if you're planning to do any cooking, or maybe you're going on some adventures and you need like clean water to drink, get a pot, make a fire, boil the water, clean water to drink. So definitely have a pot with you. Stainless steel is the best one. If you have like a plastic pot or something, which I don't know if that's possible, or any pot that's not like stainless. Like stainless steel is the best one. It's durable and it can go over the fire and burn. So definitely have a stainless steel pot. Simple as that. Last thing on my list is for those who are trying to do some overnighters, okay? That's a blanket. This is actually like not even a blanket. I think this is a bed liner or whatever it's called. Like those things you put on the bed. But get this like sort of blanket type of thing. When you're going like very low, like minimal like gear setup, like what I'm running right now, this is still essential. Like you want to have something to keep you warm. Like if I'm cold right now, I'm trying to adapt to the cold. This is a side topic, but I'm trying to adapt to the cold. That's why I'm wearing so little. Like freezing. You can probably see me like I'm a bit shivering. My voice is a bit shaky, but I truly want to roll this out. You know what I mean? Put this over me, keep me warm, whatever it is. I can use this as a bag itself. You can see in my videos, I call it the Patu, and I run that a lot. So this is such a versatile gear, like so versatile. But the main use, right, is for a blanket for sleeping, and you don't need like a sleeping bag or sleeping pad. You just gather some leaves or grass, dry grasses, make a huge bed, put this over it, and then you're nice and cozy. So that's my 5 items that I think you should bring. 6 including the bag itself. Like any little bag will count. Like you don't need some like survival like military bag or anything. Just literally get any bag. Simple as that. If you don't even want to use the bag, use the Patu. It's the same blanket. It's pretty simple. So I'm getting cold, and it's getting cold, but I'm trying to adapt to the weather right now because like winter's coming, but I want to be able to adapt my physical body to the cold. And this is like the perfect time. It's fall, wear less clothing. Like I should be wearing like a whole jacket over this, but I'm trying to adapt. And so wear less clothing when you're out here. And then when winter comes, you probably won't have to wear. You won't be like shivering as much. So cool thing to adapt your body. But that's my five items. Like that's my 5 items that I would say that you should buy when you're starting off. Really, the 2 main ones is the knife and the fire making tools. Okay, those are the 2 main ones if you have to buy anything at all. A lot of the times when it comes to these things, I don't even use that many of these things when I'm going to the woods. As you know, I love practicing primitive survival skills, so a lot of these things like I don't really use. For a knife, I can make a stone blade or use a glass like napped blade and use that to cut, like, or pick up any rock that has a sharp edge and use that to cut. So you don't necessarily need a knife. When it comes to your fire starting tools, yeah, like you should bring some fire starting tools, because to learn a bow drill or hand drill is very difficult. And as a beginner, you should practice a bow drill, but have something to make a fire, like just in case, because bow drill is pretty difficult. Cordage is like awesome, but like I said, you can make natural cordage. When it comes to a pot, pots are very difficult to recreate in the woods, but you can get like any log and use an ember from your fire to burn a bowl, a pot, and then you can like hot rock boil it. So that's how I would boil water or cook food if I'm in the woods with no pot. So you don't necessarily need this. And then when it comes to this, you don't need a low blanket, because you can make a primitive survival shelter, simple as that. Use a bunch of insulated materials like leaves or dry grasses in a very enclosed shelter, and you'll stay warm. So like those are the 5 alternatives. You don't need any of these items, like I said, but they're very easy to have, and they add to the quality of life, and very helpful for beginners. So those are my items. I hope that it helped. I hope this was informational and educational for you. And I hope that you learned something from this one. So that's it for me. I'm getting really cold. I should head back because the sun's going down. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and I hope that's helped. See you next time, everybody.